Welcome viewers. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm Rachel Davis Stewart, the culinary extraordinaire. Why? Because I'm making extraordinary food with an international flair which also appeals to American regional palates. And we're also making it healthy and cost efficient. So we flip the food from what you know and love to the healthiest version possible. I'm so excited that you're here. I like to start off this episode with a Moroccan inspired dish. I'm going to do a couscous in a flavorful broth with vegetable medley, and it's going to be amazing. To accompany this couscous, I'm also going to do a coconut crusted shrimp, and I'm also going to do a coconut crusted tofu. I know some people do not eat seafood. One of those persons is my husband and some of my dear vegetarian friends. But the same method that I use for the shrimp, I'm going to use with the tofu, and we're going to fry it, and you're going to love it. Stick with me. I have my cutting board here, and I have my chef knife. I'm going to go into the fridge. I'm going to get a beautiful piece of pumpkin. Fall is the season for pumpkin, and pumpkin is beautiful and it's healthy and it's loaded with fiber and vitamin A. Anytime you have a vegetable or a fruit with an orange hue, we know it's also good for vision. Okay, I'm going to clean all the extracurricular seeds and tissue out of my pumpkin. As you can see, my pumpkin is frozen. It's slightly frozen. It's just easier for me to handle like this. And of course, because this is Flip That Food, we're doing all things healthy, I'm going to compost any of this extra pumpkin residue. I love cooking with a pumpkin. A little bit just goes a long way for color and flavor. Okay. Raisins. Savory seasonings is all going in here, and it's all going to be put together in under 10 minutes. I'm adding just as much raisins as I did onions and green peppers, because they are really the rock star of the dish. Natural sweetness, nothing artificial in here. It's just straight beauty and flavor. Okay. Of course, gotta have diced garlic. Okay. Store-bought garlic, quick and expensive, flavorful, pretty much goes with everything, and it's fabulous. I'm going to add several heaping spoons of garlic because it's going to give everything a wonderful flavor. Now I'm going to get the heat up a bit. Wow. Viewers. This is beautiful as is. That's a rainbow. A rainbow of garlic and olive oil and vegetables. It's amazing. Now I'm going to add my seasonings. So our broth and our pumpkin is completely done. Alright? Now we're going to add our couscous and let it sit, and it's going to be done. Our oil is up to 325. We're going to take it up a notch so we get to 350 pretty efficiently. I'm just going to add so it's the right consistency. I don't measure my couscous. I do measure my rice, but couscous is a very forgiving dish. I'm going to turn it down. swear, when you're doing vegetarian food and just lots of infused pastas and rices, the smallest quantity of food goes such a long way. We have a full pot of couscous and pumpkin and raisin and flavor, and I'm excited about it. Just gonna put a lid on this, leave it on low, let the couscous fluff up and absorb those lovely flavors. I want to get started on my coconut crusted shrimp and tofu. I'm going to start with the tofu because I know some people are weird, like, I don't want the tofu touching my shrimp because I'm a hardcore eater of non-things shrimp. We're going to adjust for that. So I have my food processor here, and I'm going to put my coconut flake in. Oh, that's a lovely amount of coconut. And I'm also going to add a little panko. Panko is a delicious and crusty and craggy Japanese breadcrumb, and it's just going to add that restaurant quality texture to anything that you're breading with it. So I have coconut and I have panko. And I'm also going to add a touch of cornstarch to fill in any gaps in the breading process. Now I'm not going to add any other seasoning to this medley because the coconut flavor is going to be super pronounced and delicious. Take my lid, chop it up nice and fine. There we go. And just to make sure it's going to be great when it's finished, try now. Y'all, that's a coconut breading to die for. It's just delicious. It tastes like coconuts. Reminds me of the Caribbean or Thailand. So this is actually a fusion dish. A little bit of Moroccan, a little bit of tropical, a whole lot of amazing. Okay, so I have my coconut, panko, and cornstarch medley that I'm going to use to bread and create amazing. Then I have tofu. Tofu is a soybean product that has no taste, which is great. That means it will absorb whatever you need it to absorb. And you see it sitting in napkins. I bought extra firm tofu, unseasoned, and I've had it sitting in various batches of napkins. I wanted to get all the excess moisture out so that it really has that the texture and mouthfeel of like a shrimp or a chicken nugget. So be excited about that. Tofu squares. Okay. I'm going to sprinkle my tofu squares with a little powdered lime. If you don't have powdered lime, use powdered lemon. If you don't have powdered lemon, use a little fresh lemon. But for these applications where I'm frying, don't want any extra moisture in the medley. So I just sprinkled my lemon powder. Then I'm just going to add things that taste good on me, because if it tastes good on me, it's going to taste good on vegetables. Black pepper. Just a touch of sea salt. We don't want to over dominate the nice natural sweetness of that coconut. And I'm a coconut freak. And honestly, people, that is just quite enough. That's quite enough, because the star is the coconut. I'm going to sprinkle my tofu with a little cornstarch just to help things adhere. Create a nice gluten-free batter for the frying pleasure of my tofu. So if anyone wanted gluten-free, we do that also. Be excited for everything you learn from this show. Just going to coat it in my cornstarch. Nice and amazing. Oh, and it's nice and dry. It's going to have really, really great texture. Quick and easy. Shaking up my egg whites just to help adhere things. Egg whites have no fat, straight protein, and it's also an amazing binder. Putting those up. Okay. Now that I have a little sticky situation going on over here, I'm actually going to put a couple of pieces of tofu in this lovely batter. If it's not sticking as much as you need it to stick, you can double dip. I won't tell anybody you want more texture on your food, but it surely works. Be excited about improvising. Still going to taste good. Look at the texture. After just one coating, look at this texture. Now what do you think is going to happen when it gets round two? Woosah. It's going to be good eating, y'all. Good, healthy eating. Cholesterol-free eating, because we use tofu and we use egg whites. Very little salt. Natural flavors. That's what this show is about. All the texture I want and desire. And now I'm just going to make sure my oil is that lovely temperature it needs to be for frying. So I have my trusty thermometer, and it needs to be 350 degrees. Wait for it. It's getting there. Moving up nice and fast. I have my paper towels to catch all the lovely juices that fall off and oil that fall off the tofu. I'm just going to do very delicately because I don't want anything to stick together. Still nice and dry. And don't want to put too many in because we do want it to deep fry and get a crust versus steaming and getting oily. That's the beauty of using a thermometer. We're just going to leave it until it's golden brown, floating. Doesn't need a lot of time because it's a vegetable. And it's a protein. Be excited for soybeans. A vegetable and a protein all rolled up into one. And I'm not going to touch it because I don't want to do anything to loosen that coconut crust that we worked so hard to achieve. And it's pretty much ready. It's floating. It's golden brown. We're excited. Take it out. Let it drain. Who doesn't love fried things? There's room for everything in moderation. Okay, people? Don't be afraid to fry. Viewers, I'm super excited to continue our fusion meal. We did a beautiful Moroccan couscous, and it tastes just like the couscous I had in a Moroccan restaurant, and I have witnesses. We also did a tropical fusion, and when I mean tropical fusion, I mean coconut, tropical fruit, and we coconut crusted tofu for people that don't eat meat or people that just want something different. Now we're going to continue the theme, and we're going to use the exact same recipe we used for our coconut crusted tofu, except we're going to do a coconut crusted shrimp. Then we're going to plate this all with a lovely homemade dipping sauce. I have just some lovely shrimp that I season with lemon, lime, salt, pepper, and I sprinkle with a little cornstarch. Cornstarch is just going to get these shrimp something to adhere to, something for the coconut to adhere to. You could use flour if you don't have cornstarch, but I kind of like the fact that it's not like super stuck together. It's not going to be super crusty. Okay, after I have a little cornstarch on my shrimp, I hit it with a little egg white. Quick, simple egg white. Can't go wrong. Protein and coagulation in one dish. Quick, simple egg white. Okay? Now, I've essentially created a gluten-free paste for my shrimp. So if you eat gluten-free, you don't have to alter this recipe at all. It's just a light coating. Something for the coconut mixture to adhere to. And this mixture is just cornstarch, coconut, and panko breadcrumbs, all mishmashed in the food processor until it just creates a fine dust on the shrimp. Putting the shrimp directly on the slotted spoon is also a safety adjustment. See how easy that was, viewers? Safety and health all up in one show. 2 minutes tops. As soon as they're floating, as soon as they're golden brown, as soon as they're delicious, they're done. My God. I will use patience, y'all. I'm going to take patience, but I'm going to sample these when they're done. Then I'm going to sample one more time with the dipping sauce. I just want to know. I want you to know exactly what amazing tastes like. And I'm going to tell you. Now, to put this all together, I'm going to show you a simple and flavorful dipping sauce. It's my honey mustard, y'all. And the main ingredient is mayonnaise. This is just something you eyeball. I like a low-calorie mayonnaise, not a fat-free mayonnaise, because you're only having a little bit, so it's not going to hurt you. Okay. You have your low-calorie mayonnaise. Then you take real American honey. You drizzle your honey with your mayonnaise. And that's great, just like that. But it's not as pretty as we would like it to be. Okay. So the honey is a natural emulsifier, so we know the honey and the mayonnaise just blend together seamlessly. We have another emulsifier, which is also color and flavor and medicinal, which is real mustard. One of the main ingredients in mustard is turmeric, and that's a natural cancer fighter, which is an antioxidant. Super cheap, and mustard is also fat-free, cholesterol-free, very cheap, very flavorful, and it's just, you know, a beautiful American condiment. We just need a touch of mustard. Okay, I need you to be excited for this. Let me just show you how it comes together simply. Okay, now I'm going to show you the plating for this wonderful, healthy, homemade meal. I'm going to show you the exact serving you need. For your grains, you need approximately half a cup per meal. More or less depending on your weight, but this is a good starting point. This is also in tune with myplate.gov, which is our Americanized nutrition standard. So I have a half a cup of couscous, and this already has my vegetables in it. It's loaded with vegetables and color and fruit. Now I'm just going to get a little jiggy with it. I'm going to take my dipping sauce, put it along the plate, just for a little swag. I can have a plate with swag. I'm eating at home with friends. Dipping sauce, plate, swag, a little tofu. I like tofu. I like to eat healthy. A little shrimp. I love shrimp. Fried food is fine in moderation, especially when it's something extra special like coconut crusted. Don't be afraid to eat this. Just have it small portion. Delicious coconut crusted tofu, shrimp, couscous. I already know. Savor this with me, viewers. It tastes just as good as a piece of shrimp or chicken. This is the moment of truth, y'all. You know I'm getting a raisin in my piece. That is beautiful, and it's flavorful, and you can tell from the colors and the spice, the cayenne, that it's exotic. You got to try this, y'all. And the carrot and pumpkin it's going to improve your vision immediately. I'm going to have another bite. Slotted spoon, invaluable kitchen tool. Of course, the bigger the fryer, the bigger the wrist. So I like to fry just under half a cup of oil in my frying container. And of course, have a fire extinguisher handy anytime you're frying. Okay, safety first. Health is important, but safety is also important. And that's just instrumental when you're deep frying. I know a lot of people are thinking, oh my gosh, they're cooking so much food. We got a plate of shrimp, a plate of coconut crusted tofu, and a huge pot of couscous. This food is going to last for weeks. The reason is we're going to freeze it. We're going to take out a little for this week and enjoy it, and then we're going to freeze most of it. And we're essentially making our own processed food. And I'm going to show you how to do this. This makes lunch and dinner just so simple. Let me just go ahead and give you guys a quick tutorial. I take my freezer safe bags, then I fill it with whatever goodness I have to fill it with, like so. I would get all the excess air out. I put it in my freezer. I'd label it if I needed to, but I know these are all going to be eaten within the next 2 weeks. I throw it in my freezer, just like I'm walking into the freezer section of the grocery store. When I want something quick and healthy, I walk into the freezer section of my freezer. And I'm pulling it out. And because it's fried, I'm going to reheat it in the oven and not in the microwave to maintain the same original delicious texture that we got today. So be excited about this tip, your own frozen food.